and welcome to That's What I'm Trying to Tell You, the podcast where women from different generations sit down to share their unique perspectives on life, current events, and everything in between. So join us as we navigate through topics with laughter, a little wisdom, and a whole lot of authenticity.
Amongst the crazy TikTok trends I've heard about is something called Office Vixen. I'm sorry, even the name is just so crazy and ridiculous. But I guess what it amounts to is
Siren,
Office Siren. Okay.
I think it matters.
Well, okay, so for one thing, that's already setting a certain tone. So apparently they are videos of young women being taught to dress a certain way for their corporate office jobs. And, it just on the face of it, it's kind of a bizarre thing because who is this person who's telling them that they ought to dress this way? It consists of tight clothing, revealing, low cut things that show your cleavage, high cut things that show your midriff, tight little mini skirts, very tight
stockings.
Yeah, very tight.
Whole attire.
Right. Very tight pants.
Yeah.
And then the crowning glory, don't forget your square rimmed plastic glasses for the intelligent look. It just sort of boggles my mind that somebody, it's all cosplaying.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And what are you playing at? You're playing at a corporate office worker that is so sexy she's going to catch the president of the CEO's eye. Right? I mean, it seems like some bad romance.
Very 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, but apparently some of these young people who have never been in the workforce are actually following this, and they're getting fired or they're getting reprimanded by HR for dressing inappropriately, or they're losing jobs because they show up at interviews dressed this way.
And they're insulted by it.
They're insulted that they're criticized for it, right?
Yeah.
Which is such a strange...
As if rules don't apply to them. Like, I say this of course, you guys know I'm already a millennial, but I grew up being taught in school and at home that there's a decorum to different spaces you enter, right?
Right.
You go to work, you go to an internship, you want to show up and put your best foot forward. In fact, I'm saying this now. I remember in middle school, I went to a college prep middle school, and the headmaster at the time, he had been an executive for Honda before he came to become the headmaster of the school. And his big thing was, when he got there, dress for success, because I guess his story was that the reason that he got his job at Honda was because he was dressed better than the other candidates. He had come in a suit and tie, and I guess the other guys didn't, or girls. I don't know who he was up against, but
he was told that
by the hiring manager. He said, we went with you because you were the best dressed, And so that was his whole thing. And we wore uniforms there anyway because it was a Christian school. So, khaki skirt, navy blue pants, tie, even for the girls, blazer on certain days. And as uncomfortable as it is, I was grateful that I got that kind of reinforcement at school, because it kind of helped me in my not that I was ever going to dress inappropriate. I mean, my parents taught me to be respectful in how I present myself, right? But just having that reinforcement, there are no issues with going to work. I would never think to put these inappropriate clothes on. There's a time and a place for everything, and skimpy lingerie and tight shirts and tiny skirts. That's no place that should have in the workplace. Yeah. And people aren't going to take you seriously. And the way you dress, I mean, you think your first impression of somebody, you're looking at what they're wearing in addition to their body language, their social skills. If someone shows up disheveled and crazy looking and they smell bad or they have liquor on their breath, of course you're going to judge them and say, oh, this person, they have a drinking problem. Probably don't want to be around them. Hygiene problem, so you're showing up dressed like a little tart at work. That's overtly sexual. People are not probably going to respect you, especially your older coworkers who were raised probably like me and a lot of all of us at the table to dress a certain way and present a certain way. I don't know how. It's weird because you have these girls who do all the makeup and all the beauty stuff, but then they go out in tight clothing in these onesies that are very inappropriate. I don't care what body type you have, if you're really skinny or plus size. It's just like a huge disconnect. It's crazy.
You're saying that, and I think I see this frequently. They will do that. They will put the long fake eyelashes on, and they have their hair done, whatever that means, weave or not, full makeup, yoga pants, slides, and then they'll have a very expensive bag,
Mhm.
which is just like completely wrong in the picture. Why are you in Target looking like that with
Yeah.
a bag,
Mhm.
that costs thousands of dollars? I just don't understand it.
Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother thing where you're like, I see somebody that's dressed like that and carrying what supposedly is $5,000 bag. I'm just going, that bag's fake.
Exactly.
Right.
The
Yeah.
whole thing is fake.
Perception again,
Right.
right. You
I
clearly don't
mean,
know
it
how to
may not be
style.
true, but that's where my head is going.
It's true. You're right.
What I find so interesting about office
Siren.
sirens, yes, they get called out by HR or what have you, and they're offended. They're offended because they say, well, I'm for body positivity,
Being
why?
discriminated against.
Yeah, why are you shaming me? Like, I can wear whatever I want. If you have a problem with it, that's on you. And I just find that attitude so strange. I mean,
Arrogant.
yeah, I mean, first off, I find it odd because they're saying that this is how they choose to dress and present themselves, and that they think they look good, or they think somehow that this is okay, and that they're being feminist and body positive.
With
And
no respect for compliance.
Well,
Office.
well,
Most places do have a dress code.
right. But I mean, there's sort of two things, right? There's the feeling that they should be able to wear whatever they want because as a woman, they have agency. Okay, yes, that's true. But I guess I kind of have a little problem with people who use that sort of argument because they're saying that they're feminist and body positivity and they should be able to wear whatever they want. But they don't kind of think another step further that really wearing these very tight, revealing clothes that they consider makes them look good, or i.e. sexy or whatever, they're totally playing into the Western male gaze of what's attractive.
So true.
And that
Exactly.
somehow that's the better way to be. And I'm like, don't you understand that you're being influenced to think that that's the attractive way to be by men? It's not women that are telling you that
Right.
that's what looks good. No, you want the male attention. So, that I find that kind of this odd argument that they don't seem to get. And then, D, like to your point about appropriateness and there's a dress code, a lot of people don't seem to recognize that there is such thing as being appropriate and being inappropriate.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. And, it's inappropriate because you can make some people feel uncomfortable. You're drawing attention to things that really have no business being paid attention to in the workplace.
Yeah.
And, rather than sitting there and saying, well, if you have a problem with it, that's your problem, not my problem. I mean, my mother drilled into my head, think about the other person before you think about yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What's wrong with considering your effect on other people?
Nothing.
Right? And
Absolutely
that just seems
nothing.
to be this huge thing missing, right? In society now. Everybody's just so focused on what they want and what makes them feel comfortable. And, like really ultimately, society flows better when people are polite and considerate to their neighbors.
Absolutely.
Right? And everybody knows, like, if you are given a compliment, you feel good.
Right.
And if you give somebody a compliment and see the effect it has on somebody, they feel good and you feel good. And I mean, it's just like, in my mind, I'm like, that's just so logical to me. Isn't it a better way to live?
But you use the word logical. And I'll say, Jay mentioned earlier that it creates balance in the world, in the universe. And that's how it flows. You really,
Right.
you also need to think about, like, is it working for you?
Right.
Is that working for you?
Right. Like, are you happier?
Right.
Is everybody around you happier?
Right.
Kindness is contagious, right?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The irony in that is everybody's like, oh, I'm so lonely. I'm so disconnected. Well, yeah, because you're not even trying to relate to another person. Like, oh, let me see how they might feel if I said this or that. You have to practice that connection. It doesn't come from sitting on TikTok and I'm going to go out and do this and be. We're living in a highly individualistic society, and it shows. There are symptoms of this loneliness amongst men and women, right?
Yes.
If the world was meant to be individualistic, there would be 2 people on the planet, but there's billions.
They talk about, right, all the social media and everything, how it's, right, when you see an ad, Meta ad or something, right, they show social media and this technology as connecting us all, like around the world. It's connecting you to all these people. And it's really doing the opposite. Yes, it's connecting you in some sort of way.
It's artificial.
Yeah, it's artificial because you have no responsibility, really. You don't have to take any sort of ownership of what you say and you do when it's online.
Right.
Right. You don't have to look at that person's eyes and see how much you hurt them by saying
Right. Right.
Right. And so that's why, yes, in some ways it connects us, but you have to get out from behind the screen and actually interact with people, right? That's that epidemic of loneliness for, 20-year-olds. In a way, it seems kind of crazy.
Let's bring that back and find out focus on what's going on in the real world. Really.
Yeah, no, really.
And look around you. People don't take time to sit and look, pay attention to other things. One of my favorite things to do, both of you, is to sit in a parking lot before I get out
and watch people.
I watch people.
Yeah.
I used to do it when you could go into the airport waiting for somebody to come. Like I would go early. I could watch people. It's interesting, but that's the way the real world works. And I'm going to throw this in. If anything goes on and we are left to fend for ourselves, and I'm not trying to sound like any kind of theorist, but you are going to need other people at some point in time. And what happens if the grid goes down and we are left to depend on one another?
Yeah, if people, I think people are yearning for more connection deep down inside. Like, Kat, you just brought up a good point about COVID. People weren't inside. They were together, right?
They were taking walks in the neighborhood, sitting on their porches.
Kids were out in the street.
Like it was 1950 again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like what happened?
Yeah, it was very interesting.
Took a pandemic to get people out. And, I can just say from personal experience trying to find a date or whatever, people want to, but I guess I don't necessarily know how to. It's not, I get you don't want to just like talk to a stranger, right? But
sometimes you do just need to bite the bullet and talk to a stranger.
Yeah.
I mean, I know with my kids, I can encourage them to like, oh, well, you should talk to this person to do whatever. And the response often is, they're shy. They're not trying to be rude, but they're shy about it. And I mean, I totally get that. I am not an extrovert. But again, my mom, whenever I said, oh, I feel shy, I'm kind of scared, she would always be like, well, did you ever think that maybe that person is feeling shy?
Them feel welcome,
right.
Mother.
Yeah, exactly.
Make them feel welcome.
Like maybe they are shyer than you.
Exactly.
Maybe they are more scared than you. Maybe you should think about them instead of thinking about yourself. So that's what I always have in mind.
I'll talk to anybody, anywhere, anytime. You both know that.
And it's paid off. It helped us a lot in the past. You talked to somebody and they were able to give us some resources when we needed it just because you had struck up a conversation with somebody in line. So
I met a wonderful artist in the store recently who helped me reach something. And I said, I'm sorry, am I in your way? And he said, no, ma'am, you are absolutely not in my way. And I said, you're not from around here, are you? And that's how I started talking. And he said, what made you say that? Turns out he was from Louisiana. We started talking. We struck up a conversation. And I don't know, you just talk to people.
Yeah, I need to definitely do it more. And on that note, Twitty listeners, I know I've said it before, I'll say it again. You can text us if you like what we're saying. And if you're at the end of our episode, which we hope you are, there's a link that says send us a text. Come on, tell us how you're doing. If you have really bad Twitty pod fever like me and you have to listen every day to our podcast to get over your symptoms, go ahead and tell us how you're doing with that. But really, tell us who you are, how you're feeling.
If there's a topic you want us to talk about,
put it in the comments.
Put it in the comments. Put it in a text, and we will get back to you. Hey, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to another episode. If you enjoyed what you heard, please follow, comment, and reach out on our socials. Also, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you resonated with anything in the episode, be it products or topics, make sure to check the show notes for additional information, or shoot us an email if you like. See you next time.